Welcome to my video series all about Go. This video series I want to cover all the areas you need to do basically everything you want with the programming language Go. This is meant for beginners, so I will describe a lot of things. I will pretty much go in depth with every topic as far as I know, and let's start with modules and package structure in general under Go. I started up Visual Studio Code. I'm using Visual Studio Code under Windows, but you can basically use every code editor you want. Since I will be using the terminal to execute all the commands, you need to run the code or like to build it or compile it. And yeah, you can basically just use your CMD under Windows to do all the stuff. It's basically just a CMD which it uses here. So yeah, I've selected my workspace already. It's called tutorial. It's just a folder under Visual Studio Code, and I can create a file here. The file ending for Go files is .go, and about the name, it's basically for executables under Go. It's basically always main. This is also really important for executables. If you want to do a library or a module, we can name it whatever. I will tell more to this later, but for now we just do a little hello world example here. So we call it main.go. And since Go needs to find the entry point and the main package of our project, we need to tell them this is our module main. And the syntax to do this is called package. And then our module name is called main. So we'll add a little comment here with 2 backslashes. Say indicates our module name. The actual function of our module name to be executed as an entry point is also called main. The syntax for that is just func. And the name of the function main. So add a comment again, say main is the entry point of our module. You always do comments above your functions so that it automatically gets found and embedded in your code editor, as well as a general documentation tool for Go, which is called Go Docs. This will basically build your whole code documentation when you just put the comments in the right way above. So now we actually got everything to get our first executable running. We just save it right here. Just use the shortcut for that. And I'm currently in the directory of my project and can use go build. So now my executable is already built. I can just run it. In case you maybe wanna immediately run it, you can just do go run main.go and it will build it in the background. Doesn't create a file though, just a temporary file in the background, and immediately run it. So this will also work. Maybe you also get the error that the Go mod file is missing. I will quickly set this right here so I get this error. Yeah, so maybe you get this error here, which is a bit newer, since there was a system added for Go modules to just handle it better. I will go deeper on that later. Right now we're just use go mod init and my module name, let's call it tutorial, to create our go mod file, which just right now says that this is called tutorial and uses the version 1.17 of Go. So it already says to me I need to do .mod td, so I will just do that right now. And this is all for now. I can now build it and can run it again. So we don't see actually anything right here. We actually don't know if it really executes our function, since it's empty yet still. And we need to write something to the console. Let's do a pretty basic hello world right here. And for that we want to import something. The syntax is just called import, and we want to import fmt for that. Fmt is a main package of Go. It's built in on any system, and it's basically, it stands for formatted I/O operations, or lets you do formatted I/O operations. And communicating with the console is actually an I/O operation, because underneath these are just file handles where you can write to the console and it gets read out and we can see it. So the error it's right now showing is that I imported something which I haven't used in my code. This is actually an error in Go. We will have this more often since Go doesn't like if you do an unclean style of just importing something which you actually don't need. We will use it so it's happy and say fmt to view all its functions. And we want to print something, so we say print. We already got 3 options. I'm guessing here that print ln means print line. And it says an interface. Interface can basically be everything. So we can also just do a string right here, which is just a representation of text. Let's say hello world in it. So we don't need a semicolon, you can just save here. You can actually do a semicolon if you're used to it. We'll probably just delete it if you have Visual Studio Code, but it can also run with it. It's not an error or something. It just doesn't care, to be honest. So actually do go run main.go, and we get our hello world. So because I want to go into models today, I will go a bit deeper about this FMT, or like about this import syntax here. To do several imports, we can use actually these rounded brackets. It's a lot better, just looks a lot better, I think. You can also write import again. It's not a problem, but these brackets look better, I think. And it's getting faster. So we want to import something else. This is a main package of Go. It's included in the import directories. It's just a folder with the module called FMT in it. But we want to use an external module from the net. So I'm quickly copy and pasting something I found on GitHub, which is basically just a example hello world as well. And all we need to do is delete this, and we already have it in. So we say hello mod. Mostly these models are called like this, like the last part of the GitHub project. And the function it says is called say hello. So we save that. Go on main.go. It says it wasn't found. Say go get. Just copy that, and it was automatically downloaded in the import directories of Go, of your main directory where Go is installed, and you can just use it. So now we see we got both hello worlds printed out, the one of the example right here. So let's check the Go mod which changed here, and we see that now it actually added a line for the extern model. And now we see the actual purpose of this Go mod file. It just basically says that we, right now, right as we're coding the project, had this model installed with the version 1.0.1. This is really good, since any updates to that, or maybe I'm porting my project and I'm compiling on another PC, or like years later, the version changed and I'm downloading all the new stuff and the whole project breaks because functions got changed. Even though that's not a good coding style, but it can happen. It also creates this go sum file, which basically makes a hash out of the file, so it can compare it and doesn't really need this version here. Good. So now we got the main model of Go and the extern model. And we also have our main executable right here. What if we also want to do a library? Okay, maybe not, it's not your first step to do a library. I get that as a beginner in programming, but maybe also a bit, yeah, like you're developing for a few years and you also get quite handy with Go and you want to do a bigger project. Maybe you come from Java and C# and you kind of miss the namespaces, which kind of, they are namespaces, like in a Go way, they are just like that. Like if I got, you know, the syntax for function, hello here, I just need to do HE, and I immediately get these functions. And maybe I don't want to have all these functions in one file. Okay, I can do another file, but still they will all be referenced because I'm in the same main module. And you maybe, yeah, want to just have a bigger folder structure. In this case, you need to create a new directory, because there can only be one package, or like one unique module in one directory. That means if I want to, let's say, do the UI for my project or something like that, I can create a file here, call it UI.go, and say this is my package UI. And that also uses FMT, and that also want to say hello, and says hello world from UI. Save all of that. And what I can do now is I do tutorial to indicate my current directory, and go on UI, the next directory, and also module as well. And now I can reference UI as the module it is, and say go run main.go, and now I got my main executable with an inbuilt module, my own library, which I just created, or namespace if you want to put it like that, and an extern module which just comes from the web on the fly. I hope all of this gives you a brief instruction into how modules work, how you run your first program, how you do a simple build, and how to import other projects. I want to mention that I also have a Fiverr account and I'm offering my work as well as personal lessons in not only Go, but in a few program languages. Um, the link is in the description. And I hope to see you in the next video. I hope that gave you a brief instruction into how modules work under Go, how you create your first project, and how you can structure your project. I also want to mention that I have a Fiverr account and I'm offering my work, but I'm also offering one-to-one lessons in programming, not only Go, but also Java, Perl, C#, PHP, Yomla. I've got a lot. Just check it out. The link is in the description and I hope to see you in the next video.